Organizing players in groups of 3 for a 3-player shuttle is a great way for players to get a high volume of reps using a variety of techniques geared at improving multiple players' stick skills in both static and dynamic fashion. For this drill, arrange players into groups of 3 in a straight line with the outside players approximately 15 meters apart and a third player in the middle. Switch who is in the middle every 30 seconds at the sound of the coach's whistle, with each player getting 1 or 2 turns in the middle for each variation of the drill. Variation number 1 is the reaction pass, starting with both outside players having balls and the player in the middle facing one or the other outside player. The player in the middle switches back and forth with who they're looking at, catching a pass and then passing it back to the same person before eventually turning and receiving another pass. Intermediate players can allow the player in the middle time to establish some rhythm, and then begin to challenge their reaction time by starting the pass slightly before they start turning, which may take a few reps to get the timing down. Encourage advanced players to mix up their release point, throwing the ball on different angles, overhand, sidearm, and underhand, and in other creative ways like quick sticks or flip passes. Also encourage them to keep their feet moving while passing, or perhaps to catch the ball facing away from the player in the middle. Probably the most fundamental variation of this drill is variation number 2, the inside and outside turn. Start with the middle player closer to one outside player than the other, facing the player they are furthest away from. The player in the middle passes the ball to this person and continues running forward until they receive the pass back. As they receive the pass back, they either turn into the ball, which is the inside turn, or turn away from the ball, which is the outside turn, variation 2A and 2B respectively. As a further reference point, turning into the ball would see the player turn in toward the midline of their body with their top hand shoulder, whereas turning away from the ball would be turning away from the player's midline. The player in the middle continues back and forth, switching patterns each time through the drill. Variation 3 is the pass and fill variation. Start with 2 players near the boards on one side of the floor and 1 player near the boards on the other side. On the side with 2 players, the first player has a ball and takes a short run before passing to the player on the far side. Players then fill in behind the player they pass to, continuously passing and filling for the duration of the drill, which has a high cardio effect. This drill variation is the same as the classic passing shuttle, except with far fewer players and many more reps. In the exchange pass, which is variation number 4, start with the middle player facing one outside partner or the other, running towards that player, and that player running toward them. These 2 players exchange positions, turn and face each other doing a button hook, and then quickly exchange a pass. The player who is now in the middle turns and runs towards the other outside player, repeating the above action over and over for the allotted amount of time. This drill variation mimics a support pass in a breakout, where one player is receiving pressure and their teammate has to come back to the ball with a button hook in order to support them. Coaches need to be vigilant in making sure that players button hook back to the ball, as you can see many players cheating in this video and thus not practicing the intended skill. Variation number 5, flip passes and dump passes, operates the same way as the exchange pass in variation number 4, except as players cross paths, they exchange a flip pass or a dump pass. The flip pass involves basically face dodging, bringing the ball across one's body, and underhand flipping the ball to their partner, using their bottom hand to push or punch and their top hand to pull, which is the opposite of regular passing technique. Whereas a dump pass, which is a short, soft pass using a player's strong hand, can also be practiced, either in isolation or in combination with the flip passes that you can see here. If players are doing flip passes only, lefties will need to run to the right side of the player across from them, and vice versa for righties, in order for this drill variation to flow properly. If the coach asks for dump passes only, then lefties should stay on the left side of the player across from them, and vice versa for righties. At the end of the day, 3-player shuttles is a great drill because it can be done anywhere, anytime, with only a small amount of space required to execute the drill, whether that be the backyard, a parking lot, the school gym, or on the lacrosse floor or field.